been a hot minute since we last talked about Amy, and she has just released some new news, and I thought I would talk about it. It says, yippee, I can share that I'm writing an MMPR comic book series with Boom Studios, hashtag Power Rangers 30. It's been so hard keeping this secret. I love my MMPR fans and friend. And this is my gesture and my thank you. More to come. Now, Amy has talked about this. Herself and her partner were going to write a comic book and stuff like that with Boom, and then nothing happened and we never heard anything, so I'm guessing this was meant to be the thing. So I've not read this article yet, so we're going to read it together and kind of go over. Now I'm going to kind of give my thoughts on this. So it's been 30 years since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers premiered. Amy Jo Johnson, who played the original Pink Ranger, isn't finished with the franchise just yet. After raising $250,000 in less than 24 hours via a Kickstarter campaign for the Power Rangers a 30th anniversary comic book celebration, Johnson will write a brand new Power Rangers comic book series with publisher Boom Studios. Variety can exclusively announce. Debuting the series next year, Johnson collaborated with her partner and director Matt Hodson to co-write it. She recalls coming up with the idea before the pandemic hit in 2020. That's the one that I'm thinking I talked about it, but I know it was a while ago. I was daydreaming about it and mentioned it to my boyfriend, Matt. He said, "What? Okay," it's like, I kind of think that's what Amy said, so I don't know why he said. Or is it, he said, "Why didn't you try and write it as a comic book?" Johnson tells Variety. "We had all the time on our hands, so we daydreamed up this entire comic book series knowing the 30th anniversary was coming." The new comic book series is something that Johnson will be, I can't say the name, elected for some time. It has been so hard to sit on this and not talk about it for a year. 3, really, Johnson says, as she promises that the new series would be different from the original in the sense that it's my version. For inspiration, she went back and watched the original episodes for the first time. "I honestly had never watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers," Johnson says. I kind of believe that, but I generally think that you would kind of want to go back and read a lot, watch some of the stuff, just to kind of so when fans ask you questions, you kind of thought that. After leaving the series in 1995, Johnson says she just moved on from Power Rangers and had no idea about the fan outrage that ensued. I didn't even know they were upset. There was no internet, there was no social media. Now, okay, I kind of understand that again, but you kind of think that obviously when Tommy left, or when Jason David Frank left, then there were letters that were going in. So I would imagine that it would be the same. Again, no, there wasn't any internet back in the day, so I do kind of agree, but I do kind of generally think that there would have been some outcry that, letters would have been sent in, or she would have got fan mail. I know that she probably would have got that because fan mail was a thing that everybody would send and stuff like that. So I generally kind of think that would have been done. She says working on the set of Power Rangers had its flaws. This series was a non-union and she made roughly $700 an episode. That's kind of interesting because from what I remember, Austin, not unless this went up a lot, it feels like Austin and all that, when they asked for more money, that Austin said over time that they weren't getting a lot of money for it. Like they were barely making minimum wage back then. So if you think that if they were getting $700 an episode, maybe it probably changed due to how it is. It's just very interesting on that one because I thought that they were getting something like maybe $1,000 for a year or whatever. So that's actually very interesting. That would be something that I kind of really want to talk and I kind of bring up with Austin as well as the others if Austin and Walter, if that came up. Oblivious to the unions and the benefits that she could have received, Johnson admits that she was just excited to be working as an actor. "I was getting paid more than I've ever been paid on a job a week," she adds. "I matured, grew older, and found out what was safe and normal." Post Power Rangers, she acted in Suzy Q, Perfect Body, Felicity, and Flashpoint. For the last 10 years, she has turned her attention to behind the camera, writing and directing 4 short films, 2 feature films, and made her directional debut on the CW Superman and Lois. One production she did not join, however, was Netflix up-and-coming Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always reunion film. When Johnson's original Power Rangers co-stars Walter and David joined the cast, fans speculated about why she was not part of the film. Johnson took to Twitter to address these claims, revealing that her decision had nothing to do with money. Speaking with Variety, Johnson reveals there were a bunch of different factors came into play. One of them being, and I was working on other projects, and I also had a 14-year-old. I stopped acting and switched my focus to writing and directing almost 10 years ago. I can give you a list of excuses. Okay, see, this is more that we wanted to know. Like, it's not something where, you know, a lot of people will turn around, and I will say this, and again, I do believe it, if they didn't want to speak about it, but something like this, like saying like, oh, I was looking after my child and stuff like that, I can understand that, and that would be a bit better, saying, hey, I didn't want to do it because I was staying at home and I was doing that. That's absolutely fine, or I have other projects. Just her tweet's very vague when it came to that, and I've again talked about it. Go check out the video. It's literally one of the most recent ones that I've done. She adds, it didn't even occur to me to join a reunion because I was so focused on this comic book and telling the story. Right, okay, I get it, I do, and I will point this out. If you're kind of wanting to do this for the comic book and stuff, like you wanted to stay, why not have actually gone and done it? Because then you would have got more kind of, you know, more things coming up, like going, oh shit, well this didn't happen, or oh my god, I didn't know about this, and it adds more to it. So you could have put it down to research. While Johnson might not have said yes to Power Rangers Union movie, it's clear that the franchise still holds a special place in her heart. Jason David Frank was one of Johnson's original co-stars and dear friend who died in November 2022. JDF was like family, she says. The whole franchise will always be very special to me. I can't wait to see it. Again, I have a lot of stuff to talk about in that thing, and I'm not going to do it in this video. For now, she reveals in the excitement that her fans will get to experience her new comic series. This is my thank you. This is my love letter to the fans. She says it's been incredible to have these kids who are now adults support me through all of my career stroke changes. Okay, I think that's absolutely fine. You know, she's writing this, but I hope either if she's going to do this, it's going to kind of either be at the very beginning of Power Rangers, or at least she kind of goes through it and then acknowledges that everything's going on. Because it's one thing is when people turn around and say this, like, oh my god, you didn't think about this, or you didn't do that, and it's just like, just look at the reference material. If this is set in another dimension, again, like, it's fine. You know, Soul of the Dragon, that followed everything that JDF said and kind of did that, and I understand it. But I think when hearing this is my the whole franchise will always be very special to me. I can't wait to see it. That really irritates me a little bit, because it just feels like that's something that she wants to say to get people to be like, hey, this is really cool, you know, I love it. Yet she's kind of like turned her back on the entire fandom for the years and only come back for certain things. Again, it might be a video for another day. Now, I'm excited for this. Don't get me wrong. I really like it when like past actors come back and they input their story into the franchise. I want to see what they've come up with. And obviously this being a year project to technically 3, I'm really interested to see how she's going to write, how in her mind this is the story that's going on. I'm really excited for that. But I'm going to hold my reservations for it. But it'll be an interesting kind of comic book. I would love it if she addressed Ranger Slayer and little things like that. So I'm kind of excited. I want to know. I'll review it when it comes on the channel. There's so much of the comic books I haven't even looked at. But I will definitely kind of talk about it a little bit more. So I am going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with Amy? Do you not? Do you think that this kind of saying about her not wanting to go to the reunion is a lot more feasible than what she put on Twitter? Let me know down below in the comments, and while you're down there, why not hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on all notifications, and if you want, become a channel member. I am going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat. Your help does go a long way to support the channel, and if you want to consider helping the channel, then links to my Patreon as well as the channel members are listed below.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから 商品を入手することができます。